Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a natural part of the process. I mean, when children play, it's always a natural part that they want to look up and look around and try to focus on other things happening in their environment. So, look around at the world. I mean, do you see anybody who had problems lifting their head as a child, as an adult? There is no. There are none, right? There's nobody who is visible in the world that had problems lifting their head as a child. It's just something that happens naturally over time. Yeah. Of course, it's good to focus on what needs to happen. A lot of it is natural anyway. Yeah. Babies are overprotected.
Yeah.
Babies are overprotected. There is nobody on this planet who visibly had a problem with their head as a baby in the first couple of months. Even the Amazonian tribes that live at the top of trees, right? Their kids don't have any problems with their heads, okay? And they don't have any special advice from any special doctors about how anything should be done. So, yeah, it's good to know all of the developmental stages, and it's good to know that the muscles need to develop. I'm sure there are. The direction is for the less aware people.
Yeah.
Right? The direction is for the people who really don't know what to do or what to look for or who to look at or which elements are important. And you can understand that in a society where there are maybe a lot of children from single parents don't have a lot of the experiences or the direction that they need. But I think aware people are logical in their approach to things. So I think that it's nice. It's nice to have all the information, and it's much better this way than the opposite way.
Yeah.
Right? The opposite way would be zero information. That would be the opposite. The opposite of a lot of information is nothing. And it would be much worse if there was no information at all. So it's good to have all the information. And I remember in our last discussion we were talking about not being oversensitive to things. Yeah, like we were talking about the shopping situation and looking at the labels on food and things. Is it important? Yes, but it's not so important that we need to focus on every single element of it. And here's the other thing: if you focus on this, it's very hard to focus on that. So focusing on one thing takes your attention away from something else. And I always remember this when I was weight training years ago with other people in the gym, and some of my friends they're really big with lots of muscles, and I would talk to them about what was the best nutrition and how to develop and which muscles to work on, and one of them told me that because one of them he looked physically absolutely perfect, and I said, how do you do that? How do you develop perfect physique? And he said the problem is it's not perfect, and it's never perfect because there's always something you need to focus on, something you need to work on. But the moment you focus on what he said, maybe you got some problem with your shoulder and you want to work on your shoulder. He said the moment you focus on your shoulders, you stop focusing on your chest, and you stop focusing on your stomach, and you stop focusing on your legs. And he said, you build up your shoulders, and then when you do that, by the time your shoulders are perfect, there's another part of your body that's not perfect, because you focused too much on one thing, and you ignored the whole experience of the training. And so this works in business as well. When there's a big problem and everybody focuses on the big problem, lots of other things don't get done because everybody's working on solving the problem. Or it happens with children where you focus on, let's say when the child is older, you focus on developing their reading skills.
Mm-hmm.
But because you focus on developing the reading, you forget about the mathematics. And so they develop the reading skills, but they don't have the mathematics skills. And it's the same in very early childhood development, that a lot of things are holistic. As long as the baby is playing, as long as the baby is awake, as long as the baby gets enough nutrition, as long as the baby is moving and rolling, and you're stretching the arms and the legs, and you're doing the little things you need to do, then everything develops step by step. And for every person who says you must do this, there's another expert who says, no, that's the wrong way. And it's crazy now because it's a big industry now. So childcare and the healthcare of young children and their development is massive. Special programs and special products and giant shops, they're giant shops just for babies, right?
Yes.
You got your baby carrier, and you got your baby chairs for the car, and you got your pram and stroller, and you all these special little packages of all the shapes and the colors and the textures, and this is good for sensory feeling, and this is good for developing auditory and listening skills, and then we've got all this. But go back in time 200 years to where none of this existed. There were a lot of people who developed very well without any of these things within their environment. So I think it's unique. I think it's individual. I think each experience is a little bit different. And so, as I said before, we tend to overprotect the children, but that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Like, I have to decide at the moment: can my son go out and play in the village by himself? I don't know. I mean, is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? I don't know. It's probably okay, but I don't know. So we have to make these decisions. My son is 8 years old. I think probably it's okay. He can probably take his bicycle. He can probably go where he wants, do what he wants. Does it worry me? Yes. Is it helpful that I worry about it? No. Right. And then, like, my second daughter, she's 5, so with my second child, which is my first daughter, she wants to go with him. Can she go with him? Well, no, she's only 5 years old. She doesn't have the focus yet. She understands everything, but when you're 5 years old and you see a cat, the whole world is the cat.
Yeah.
But you don't see anything else. You don't know anything else. You don't think about anything else. And you're just like, oh, cat. So there are still things that she has to learn. But that's the problem, because if I don't let her have certain experiences, she won't learn anything. So sometimes I close my eyes and I cross my fingers. I hope everything will be okay. Yeah. So, little story. I'll tell you a story for 1 minute. Yesterday we went to the beach, and on the beach they have these big rocks, and the sea comes crashing in over these big rocks. And, it's fun to stand on the rocks and let the water kind of run around you, but still stand on the rocks. But some of the waves are big.
Yeah.
And so some of the waves come crashing down over the rock. And it's a game, right? You jump off the rock and you run away before you get wet. Now, so my son is 8, and he started to do this, and I'm thinking, no, it's not a flat beach. It's a wild sea with a big waves, and it rocks, and it's if you fall into the sea, it's instant kind of big sea. It's dangerous, right? It's like no one's ever died, but it's dangerous. You want to be careful. So my son, who's 8, starts doing this, and then my first daughter sees him doing this, and my daughter's like, "Oh, I want to do this too." So she runs out onto the rocks, and she's doing this as well. And then my youngest daughter, who's 3, she sees this, and she wants to do it. So I'm standing on the beach watching my 3 kids do this, and I'm thinking, which one do I save first? Which one do I save first? And eventually, this big wave comes crashing in across the beach, and me thinking, the kids will jump off the rock and they'll run back onto the beach when the big wave comes in. No. So they all stand on the rock. Big wave comes crashing in. Soaking wet, water everywhere. Children standing on the rock like, all happy. Me in complete panic. Okay, like, oh my god. And the children are laughing. The children are like, oh, it's so much fun. And I'm worried that they could die, right? And nothing happened. Nothing bad happened. Nothing bad happened. I made a nice little video and I put it on my Facebook page. There. So, and of course, the children are like, "Oh, can we do it again? Can we do it again? We want to do it." Okay, whatever. And they come home and they are more wet. They're more wet than dry. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's the fun, right?
Mm.
And
but fun only for children, not for parents.
Yeah, perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, perspectives. The employees are laughing and the boss is in complete panic, right? Right. Yeah, but as a parent, you have to learn to see the child's perspective, which is nothing bad happened. So it's okay, and the children have more adventure than most adults. So the adults are like, I don't want to get my feet wet. Yeah, I'm sure that you can imagine this perspective, like 99% of it. Oh no, my feet are wet. Oh, I've got a little spot on my t-shirt. Oh my god, it's the end of the world. Children just, they paint their clothes with the food, right? It's unavoidable. What food makes a mess? Beetroot. You know what beetroot is? Beetroot. Beetroot colors everything purple, right? So, yeah, and children love beetroot. They love it because of its color, because it's really colorful. Mm-hmm. This is like because it's colorful, and so my children are like, oh, beetroot, fingers, not fingers. Oh, beetroot. Oh, it's on my hand.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on the table now. It's just everything is purple. So and adults are like, oh my god, there's a little bit of beetroot on my t-shirt. Oh, and the children are just whatever, right? So the perspectives are really different between the parent and the child. Mm-hmm. The parent has to learn to develop the child's perspective, the same way the child has to learn to develop the parent's perspective over a long period of time. But the child has 20 years to develop the parent's perspective. But the parent has 20 seconds to develop the child's perspective, which is it's okay. It's okay to have wet feet. It's okay to have wet socks. It's okay. It's okay to be messy. It's okay. That's life. It's nice to be tidy and organized as well, but that takes time. Like getting children to go to bed. Right? Getting children to go to bed is difficult, especially as they watched the new Star Wars film last night. And they were all excited about that. Can't go to bed because they're playing with their imaginary lightsabers. Okay. Welcome to my world. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world. There we go.